So, you've probably heard about the EU's new AI Act. It's this landmark piece of regulation, and its whole goal is to build a future where we can actually trust artificial intelligence, especially when we're talking about high-risk systems. Let's dive into how it really works. Right, so to make sure these high-risk systems are actually safe before they get anywhere near us, the Act sets up these official referees. But that begs a huge question, one that gets right to the heart of trust and accountability. Who's watching the watchers? All right, so let's pull back the curtain on these gatekeepers. In the official lingo of the EU AI Act, they're known as notified bodies. So, what exactly is a notified body? Well, think of it like an independent third-party inspector. An EU country basically deputizes them to perform what's called a conformity assessment. It's kind of like a super detailed safety inspection. If a high-risk AI system passes, great, it can be sold in the EU. If it fails, it's back to the drawing board for the developers. And believe me, their job is way more than just a quick look-see. We're talking a deep, deep dive here. Based on Article 31 of the Act, they have to check absolutely everything, from the AI's risk management systems and its data protection to its cybersecurity. And, maybe most importantly, they have to be completely impartial, with zero conflicts of interest. Okay, so that brings us right back to the million-dollar question. What happens if one of these notified bodies just isn't doing its job? If it's incompetent or maybe even biased. How do you police the AI police? Well, the EU has an answer for that, and it's packed into one really powerful part of the law, Article 37. This gives the European Commission, that's the EU's executive branch, the direct power to step in, investigate, and challenge a notified body if it looks like something's wrong. This is basically how it works. It's like an enforcement ladder. It starts with a simple doubt. The Commission sees something it doesn't like, so it tells the country that designated the notified body, hey, you need to fix this. But, and this is where the real teeth are, if that country doesn't act, the Commission can go over their head and directly suspend or even completely revoke the notified body's authority. But having this power creates a huge headache for the investigators themselves. Because how do you run a proper investigation when you're dealing with some of the most valuable and secret information on the planet? Yeah, just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. To figure out if a notified body did its job right, you might need to see the secret sauce, the AI's source code, its training data, maybe even the company's 5-year business plan. How on earth do you get access to all that without tanking the company's entire business? I mean, we are literally talking about the crown jewels of a tech company. For a startup, having their secret algorithm or their unique business model leak out, that could be game over. So you have this massive tension between needing transparency for oversight and needing confidentiality for business to even function. Now, the folks who wrote the AI Act, they weren't naive. They saw this exact problem coming from a mile away, and they baked the solution right into the law. And here it is, Article 37, Paragraph 3. It's not ambiguous at all. It basically says the Commission has to. It shall ensure that all sensitive information is kept under lock and key. It's not a suggestion. It's a legal requirement. And they don't leave you guessing what sensitive means. The law spells it out. We're talking about a massive shield that covers everything from intellectual property and trade secrets to personal data to confidential business info and even things related to national security. But here's the really interesting part. This super strong protection, it wasn't even in the first draft of the law. Back in 2021, the proposal was kind of vague, just talking about confidential information. The final version we have now, it creates this much more specific, much stronger shield for explicitly defined sensitive information. Yeah, this wasn't just some random edit. The European Parliament really fought for this change. They knew that without this solid guarantee of secrecy, the whole system would be built on shaky ground. Companies and even whistleblowers just wouldn't trust the process enough to cooperate. So let's zoom out for a second. Why does this one little detail about confidentiality matter so much? Why is it so foundational to the whole AI Act? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. Because without it, the entire system of checks and balances just crumbles. Strong confidentiality means companies are more likely to cooperate openly. It creates a safe space for whistleblowers to come forward. It protects the very innovation the law is trying to encourage. And, at the end of the day, it helps build public trust that the system is not only tough, but also fair. And that's the beautiful irony, isn't it? This powerful cloak of secrecy isn't there to help people hide the truth. It's the exact opposite. It's designed to create an environment of trust where the whole truth can finally come out.
but without destroying companies or careers in the process.
So, at the end of the day, the EU has built this incredibly detailed system of checks and balances, a world where even the referees have referees. It's a bold move, trying to juggle safety, accountability, and innovation all at once. But the real question, as AI keeps evolving at a jaw dropping pace, is whether this carefully built framework of trust will actually hold up.